Emmett Linton, we're going 8 rounds, and I do think this is going to be an action fight. Let's get to it. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Donald J. Trump's Taj Mahal Casino Resort here on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where tonight Top Rank Incorporated, in association with the undisputed, undefeated King of Beer, Budweiser, present professional boxing for your entertainment. All the bouts are sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board. Let's get things started, ladies and gentlemen, with an 8-round bout. This is in the welterweight division. The referee for this contest is Arthur Mercanti. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with red trim, weighing an even 147 pounds. He's originally from Cataño, Puerto Rico, now fighting out of the South Bronx in New York City. A good professional record, 10-1, 4 by KO. Introducing Julio Flores. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with yellow and green trim. He weighs 146½ pounds, a native of Tacoma, Washington, now living and fighting out of Fort Worth, Texas. He's undefeated, 13-0, 7 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, Emmett Laser Linton.
All right, let's go, young man. We're in the state of New Jersey, and let's talk about the rules, Al.
See, the 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Standing 8 count. The doctor can stop the bout. The winner gets 10 points, losers 9 or less. Judges will score. The referee doesn't figure in the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round.
I know that. Arthur Mercanti, the referee. Here's a look at Julio Flores, and this guy's all business. Julio Flores is not, believe me, here as an opponent. It's a real test for Emmett Linton tonight. Emmett Linton in the white trunks. Julio Flores, who wants to be right on top of Linton, right where he is now.
And what Flores will try very hard to do, Barry, is do what he started out doing, which is land that left hook against Linton. And Emmett Linton, a fine boxer, really has lots of skills in there. And they know they're fighting a guy that's quite good. You mentioned Flores' win against Marshall. He's a quality opponent.
Good right hand. That hurt Flores. I don't think Linton knew he hurt him.
He's really hurt. Linton should jump on him now.
He's about to go.
Well, he's a quality opponent who's hurt right now. I'm shocked that Linton didn't go after him.
I don't believe that he knew that he hurt him.
Well, if he didn't, he was about the only one in this arena that did.
All right, practice, break. Don't hit on a break. Step back. Step back.
It'll be interesting to see what Donald Curry says to Linton.
Yeah, you would think he would want to go after Flores immediately. You know, sometimes when you go in against a guy that you know is better, you're so shocked if you would hurt him like that, that you wouldn't go after him, assuming that he's not going to be that hurt.
Flores is a tough guy. Only one loss. That was to Jake Rodriguez, who incidentally is also a left-hander. But he also dropped Jake Rodriguez in the 8th round.
He's very timid now with that hook, though, Flores. He's going to have to really rip that punch if he's going to stay in there with Linton. You know what's interesting about Linton, we've talked about this before, like his mentor, Donald Curry, and of course, Curry's his manager, not his trainer, but he helps out certainly in the boxing.
Step back. Don't hit on a break.
Linton likes to get on the inside, even though he's an outside boxer. And you see him doing a little bit of that in here tonight.
Flores continuing to stalk him. Linton went into this fight with a game plan.
Big left hook hurt Linton there,
Yes,
Barry.
it did. Yes, it did. Both men have been hurt here. Donald Curry says he wants quality opponents for Emmett Linton. He had one in his last fight, as a matter of fact. And now goes Linton from a solid right hand. And he is buckled.
7.
He will get through the round, however.
He had a war with Jeff Johnson his last time out, and this one is turning into that and more.
So both men are rocked, but significantly Linton is down, and he is still in some trouble.
Come on, down, and quick.
You hear Percy Richardson saying, get down, get down.
What you thinking about? No, but you can't do that, Emmett. We didn't do that.
Donald Curry animated in that corner. Here's where Flores got to him. A right hand that bounced off the top of his forehead and sent Emmett Linton crashing to the canvas. And ironically, it's the left hook of Flores that had hurt him before that you would think would be a problem, and it was the right instead that knocked Linton down. So this one is shaping up much like the Jeff Johnson fight, except Flores hits harder than Johnson.
Yes, he does. And I think Emmett Linton has still not quite got it all together.
Now, and here's where a young man with the boxing skills of Linton might want to use them. Against the ropes, the wrong place to be. And you're right, Barry. He's still shook.
I think he is. And he took a right hand right there. Now, interesting, Linton hurt Flores in the first round. Didn't know he had him hurt, but Flores knows even now that Linton is hurt.
And there are the punches by Flores winning that first round. You're absolutely right. And boy, Emmett Linton will rue the fact that he didn't go after Flores. I mean, he had Flores really shook.
Flores is a very dedicated guy, according to all his people. Spends his time in the gym, no bad habits. Wants to be a hero to the Puerto Rican people.
Emmett Linton was 0 for 9 in jabs in round 1. And when he lands no jabs, you know he's not going to be that effective.
Arthur Mercanti is not going to let Flores hold behind the head anymore. He will take a point away next time, I'm quite sure. Arthur Mercanti, a guy who was very quick to pull the trigger.
See, no jabs coming from Linton. He is not stopping him as he comes in. So he's letting Flores pretty much walk in as he wants.
And another thing that you've talked about many, many times, and that is the fact that Flores, who may not have a great jab, at least shows the jab to Linton on his way in.
Just enough, at least, to work his way in and let him know that punch was there.
He's right there. He just sort of pushed it out.
And Linton is letting Flores set up the way he wants to set up. He is not moving to his right to get outside the power of Flores.
Donald Curry was not concerned about fighting a guy with this kind of experience and a guy who is this tough, nor, on the other hand, was Flores worried about fighting a left-hander. And apparently with good reason so far.
Yeah. You know, as you said, he had lost to Rodriguez. Only 8 jabs thrown in this round by Emmett Linton. Because he's a good inside fighter, Linton, when he wants to fight on the inside. But he's got to really move his hands. Oh, nice uppercut.
Good shot. Now that's a weapon, actually, that Linton wants to use against Flores.
Flores is landing that overhand right almost at will here. This is really surprising that he would be landing that punch so well against Linton, even though Flores is a good inside fighter.
Well, now let me ask you a question. Linton told us this morning he wants to work the uppercut. He wants to throw uppercuts. Is it possible he's just thinking about throwing that punch so much he's forgetting about a right hand coming up over the top?
Well, yeah, right. That's a very good point because he's setting up for that punch, so he's getting whacked with the right hand. But he hasn't been able to unload it. He better keep his hands up. There you see him keeping his left hand up.
But still kind of a recuperative round for Linton, and you have an idea that he might have given it away to Flores.
All right, seconds out.
Here's the work of Flores on the inside, landing the left uppercut after he tried the little right hand.
So Emmett Linton's going to have to dig down here, as he has not only given the first 2 rounds away, actually hasn't given anything away. Flores has taken them.
Yeah, that is a very good way to put it. And you see, Flores has been so busy. And that's why you say he's taken him. It hasn't been Linton giving him.
And worse yet, it would be pretty hard to score that first round any other way but 10-8. So for all intent, Linton is 3 rounds behind him.
There's the hook by Linton, and it set up the left hand, and he has hurt Flores.
Yes, he has. Now, let's see if he jumps on him. He still doesn't.
Because he's worried about getting hit. The right hook is the key in this bout for Linton. When he throws it, he lands it. And he can double it to the body and the head. And he let Flores off the hook again. When he threw that right hook, he got it in there, and he hurt him.
All right, stop pulling the head.
See, there it is to the body. He should come right with it to the head. Very entertaining bout. Very reminiscent, in fact, of his battle with Jeff Johnson that we showed here on ESPN a month or so ago.
Except, as you pointed out, Flores is a little bit more of a banger than Johnson was.
It's much harder.
Good shot again. That stunned Flores.
You know, Emmett Emmett Linton, in so many ways, except for being a lefty, is the carbon copy of Donald Curry. He has many of the same skills. He, like Curry, has speed and hand speed and foot speed, but doesn't really want to box, does he? He wants to do what Curry always liked to do. He's a good inside fighter. He wants to be there fighting on the inside.
Good student, though, Donald.
Oh, yeah.
Working with him.
And that's not necessarily a criticism of Curry because he was a good inside fighter.
It's interesting, though, we're talking to this morning, he told us, I can do my own talking, Donald. You don't need to talk for me. I can do my own talking, and Donald still talked for him. It's kind of a nice relationship that the two of them have.
Yeah, they really do. And Paul Reyes, the trainer, fits in nicely with that. And of course, Percy Richardson, the other member of that corner. Flores now, to his credit, withstood those big shots. Uh-oh, that one hurt him.
And there it's falling up, hit him with a good right hand. And now Flores is in trouble.
The right hook is the answer for Emmett Linton. He should step to his right and crank up the right hook.
But that time he followed up on it. Coming to the end of round number 3, and Emmett Linton has gotten himself untracked in this round. Much better round for Emmett Linton. We'll be back.
Dedicated to boxing, and you can tell he comes in every bout giving himself the best chance to win. Uh-oh, that left hand got to him there as well.
Good left hand again. That really shook him. Now let's see if Linton jumps. Another left hand. Those are strong punches. Great left hands.
Lead lefts getting in. And if Linton would land the hook behind him, Linton has let him off the hook every single time. Instead of jumping on Flores, he has let him go.
There's that hand, left hand again. Found a home for that.
You can see from the outside how effective Linton can be with those long jabs and lead lefts.
We're remarking as Flores went back to the corner after the last round that he looks a little bit tired.
He's having a hard time getting in now past those long shots of Emmett Linton. Donald Curry said to Linton, you can make this fight tough or easy, and I think making it easy means staying on the outside. When you have a big height and reach advantage, it behooves you to use it.
But again, I hasten to point out that the first round being a 2-point round, a 10-8 round, and Flores arguably winning the second round, that gives you, for all intent, a 3-round edge. It's only an 8-round fight. Yeah,
that's why Linton, for his part, needs to really get going, and he has in these last 2 rounds. He has stunned Flores 3 or 4 times in this round.
It's been a very good round for him, as was the last.
Of course, we have to remember that Flores has the power to hurt Linton as well. At least he did early in the bout. But on the outside, Flores will have a hard time winning this match.
Julio Flores looks like he's just trying to catch his breath here. He's not even making much of an effort to get inside.
He's getting stunned even with the jabs that Linton is throwing.
Yes.
This is the Emmett Linton that I think they would like to see more of in his corner.
Very solid jabs, too. There's that lead left again.
Well, he's getting it left in without even the benefit of a jab leading up to it.
Yep.
Quick hands of Linton making a difference now.
And at the same time, keeping Flores off of him. As good a round as the last was for Emmett Linton, this one was a little bit better. Complete round for Linton.
Emmett Linton landing the lead left hand. They were very effective in the last round, but Donald Curry told him in between rounds, don't just throw that punch, do something else off it.
Exactly what we've been talking about. Through the first 4 rounds, you can see Linton now with a much higher connect percentage, and Flores has dropped off significantly since the second round.
And Julio Flores needs to find a way to get inside as he was in rounds 1 and 2. Now that's good head movement coming in, but he's got to do something behind it.
But you know what he's doing too? He's giving it the same head movement every time in. That's the start of the timer. After 4 rounds, you have this as a very close fight now. Only that 2-point first round separating the two.
Yeah, Flores won the first 2, and Linton won the second 2 after that. But there was the knockdown to be considered.
A reminder that still to come, our main event in the heavyweight division, Merciless Ray Mercer against Wimpy, yes, Hallstatt.
the Wimster. He's a character.
He is a character.
Good guy. Good guy.
Oh, yeah. And a guy who I really think will do quite well in the cruiserweight.
I'm a long been an advocate. I thought Arlen Norris made a brilliant move by going down there, and I've been one of those guys that wonder if Arlen Norris will ever lose his cruiserweight. I'm sure there are good cruiserweights out there, but he's in his domain, and I think Whippy Hallstead, if he can get down there, will do well also. There's the right hooks by Linton, and there's the uppercut he wants on the inside. But this is where Flores wants to fight him. Though less on those punches from Julio Flores.
Yeah, and he's really leaning rather than putting any leverage behind the punches. He really looks to me like a tired fighter who is getting increasingly tired as this fight goes on.
Dilemma for Emmett Linton in a way. I'm not sure Emmett Linton could box his way to a victory constantly over almost anybody. But I know you want to make yourself marketable and you want to get knockouts, but he can stand on the outside and box with his height and reach against welterweights, and I don't know if he'd ever be touched. And yet, you see the power and his ability on the inside, and you want to show it.
His power is getting better. He's
much better.
Much more balanced than his punches than he used to be.
And getting more leverage in the right hook. And that really is his knockout punch, I think. More so even in the straight left hand.
Step back.
It's interesting, too, that these two, Linton is an advocate of watching tape of his opponent. He says he's seen 2 or 3 of Flores' fights. Flores, on the other hand, he didn't want to know anything about his opponent. Flores fighting this round a little bit more like he wants to, but not really throwing too many punches. He's getting inside, but then not doing much business. Round to Linton. Well, Bernstein, we're at the Trump Taj Mahal here in Atlantic City. Cue the band. Philadelphia Flyers and the Detroit Red Wings. That'll be tomorrow night right here on ESPN. Stevie Eiserman and Eric Lindros, 7:30 Eastern Time tomorrow right here on ESPN. The NHL back where it belongs. Meanwhile, Julio Flores is going to have to find something that was only there in the first 2 rounds. Take a look at the numbers in the 5th round, and I'm sure you'll get a pretty good idea as to just how Linton has started to control this fight, landing more, although throwing less.
And ironically, his connect percentage, not great in that round, but still getting in a larger number of punches.
I'm surprised Flores threw 68. I counted 67.
Did you? Well, we're going to have to send a memo to Punch Profile and see if we can get them up to speed on these punch.
They're not listening. They're watching CNN.
they've got Ted Koppel on the other side.
I think that's right.
No, they do a great job, as everybody knows, but 67 could be the right number. Now Flores in the right spot. You made a good point, Barry, in the last round. He was in the right position, but didn't do enough business. And that you know, he didn't move his hands enough and move them in the right way. Straight left, still there for Linton.
It's interesting that Linton went into this fight with a plan of moving Flores around. He hadn't done that too well, and he also went into it with a plan of throwing a lot of uppercuts, and he hadn't done that too well, but he has really worked the left hand. Yeah, and you know, one of the first part of that plan, there's the first part of the plan, moving around and making Flores dance to his tune, and he hasn't done that, and that's the thing that I think Emmett Linton could do all the time. You know, he's got good height and good reach for a welterweight at 5'11". I think those are assets he really should use, and great hand speed. Crowd getting a little bit restless here, too. We are at the Trump Taj Mahal. This is the Mark Edis Arena, and we are watching our first fight of the evening. A welterweight fight, 8-rounder. Emmett Linton in the white trunks against Julio Flores in the black trunks. Very competitive fight. First 2 rounds owned by Flores. He had Linton down in the first round, but since that time, Linton has come on to virtually dominate the fight. Still to come our main event, Ray Mercer, Wimpy Hallstead.
this is a pivotal round, especially for Flores, because he's probably lost the last 3, allowing Linton to even things up. And as you pointed out, with the 2-point round from the knockout round, Emmett Linton had to win those rounds to get back even.
But still seems to be getting inside and then not throwing a lot of punches. Cranked that one up a little bit, but it missed.
Neither man is setting down on their punches as well as they were earlier. A little fatigue could be the answer there. Oh, that's a nice straight left by Linton.
Yeah, Linton looking for punching room. Come to the end of the 6th round, and this one a rather uneventful round. This is more a question of who didn't win it than who did. We'll do that.
Stop.
We start the 7th round now. Linton in the white trunks, Julio Flores in the black trunks, and Flores once again is going to have to find what was there early in the fight, because it has not been there for the last 4 rounds. Numbers clearly favoring Emmett Linton.
And remember, Linton had to climb out of a hole to get that big edge of almost 50 punches.
On your card now, Linton has stuck his nose in front.
And a reminder that in round 1 there was the knockdown of Emmett Linton, and that was why 2-point round, so that's why it's as close as it is. This is the Emmett Linton that I think is very difficult to beat. The guy that is moving, showing you just enough movement, has enough power to stick you there and make you not rush in at him, but also gives you angles and moves. If he's going to lay inside with a lot of welterweights, he's going to have some problems, even though he's a very good inside boxer.
Linton got a pretty good lecture in the corner from his people between those last 2 rounds, that last round of this one.
Emmett Linton was a terrific amateur, won over 200 amateur fights. Stopped short of trying to make the Olympics. Decided to return pro instead, and has had a nice run as a pro so far.
Flores just doesn't seem to be able to generate the power that he had early, and I think it's just a simple case of fatigue. And a good left hand again by Linton knocked Flores backwards.
And the left hooks that Flores was throwing with conviction earlier, you can see how they're slapping punches now.
Yeah, he's just getting in here kind of laying on it.
And you talked about the fact that Curry and the people with Emmett Linton wanted them to fight quality people. This is how you get better as a pro. The Jeff Johnsons and then the Julio Flores. And you run some risks if you make a mistake, as Linton did early in the bout. But if you are championship timber, you get up from those knockdowns and you learn from them.
As Linton has in this fight. Linton was about 1 punch from going in that first round.
Yeah, he was really in trouble. See, there's the movement from Linton.
And Flores really just following Linton around right now.
They don't want Linton leaning in like that, and that's a mistake.
All right, break. Let's go.
End of round 7. 1 more round to go, and we'll be back right after this.
Emmett Linton has certainly landed his share of straight left hands, not even needing the jab to set that punch up.
So this is the final round now, and Emmett Linton really has the fight to win or lose. And it does not appear, in all honesty, that Flores could do much about it. Look at the jabs through the 7th round. Flores has landed only 6 jabs.
And, you know, so many of those, as you pointed out, were pawing jabs to set things up, which was okay early in the bout, but now he's not setting things up. Now, that was the first right hand that Flores has thrown with conviction in a long time in this bout.
A long time. They cranked that one pretty good.
And remember, it was the right hand that put Linton down early in this bout. You know, I think boxers like Linton, and I mentioned Donald Curry's example, Michael Nunn would be an example at this point in his career, that have a tendency to lean in. It's almost like, you know, the guy who's a center in basketball, they can't resist going out there and putting up those 25-footers. He knows he shouldn't do it, but he thinks he can do it, and he does it. And that's exactly what happens to these boxers.
Well,
especially if they have the skills to do it.
Linton has fallen back on what got him here in the first place, and in this case, it probably is going to win him the fight.
Hard break. Step back, clean.
Flores had an opportunity, but just wasn't able to pull the trigger after the second round.
Hard break.
And Linton has a minute and 13 seconds to improve on his record.
And while this wasn't as wild from start to finish as his bout with Jeff Johnson, it certainly had more than enough nervous moments early for Emmett Linton. And what it has told Julio Flores is that he's still a notch from where he wants to be to compete with the good welterweights. But this is dangerous for Linton. No reason for this, in my opinion. Why engage in this right now? Hit and get out. Don't stand in there with it.
Called macho.
Yeah, that's it. Must have something to do with boxing.
And there was a straight left hand from Flores. It might have been his best punch since the second round.
There's blood from Emmett Linton's lip. I mean, I'm not saying Linton shouldn't attack, but attack and then get out. And there's Flores landing a pretty good left hook. I mean, it makes for a more exciting bout, but from Linton's standpoint, it's probably not strategically sound.
Well, there'll be no knockout in this fight as we count it down, and this one, 2, 3, 4, is history.
Was that a 3-bar rest you had there?
I think it was, yes. And I feel quite certain that Emmett Linton will win this fight, but it wasn't easy.
No, and as you look at Julio Flores, of course, laboring, as you said, under the extra added burden of his trainer having died, and I think that Julio showed that he's a man in good condition and has skills, but is not ready to take on the better welterweights right now. And he'll learn from this outing, and that young man, Emmett Linton, will learn from this outing. Don't drop your hands.
Well, a reminder, the NFL here on ESPN coming. So Emmett Linton awaiting his fate tonight. And we are just about set to go with the decision. Let's get it from Michael Buffer.
Gentlemen, we go to the scorecards. Richard Strange scores the bout 76-75. He has it for Julio Flores.
Whoa.
Deborah Barnes scores it 77-74. She has it for Linton. And Tommy Kazmarek scores it 77-75 for the winner by split decision, Emmett Laser Linton.
Well, it wasn't easy, as we expected, actually. And Emmett Linton, in a close decision, is a winner over a game Julio Flores, who you feel quite certain we will see once again. We'll be back with more after this.